Welcome back to the Rhonda Swan Show, the New York City edition. We are back here at the New York Stock Exchange, and today we are talking about peak performance and podcasts, how to elevate not only your business, but how to elevate your message through podcasts. And today, my guest is C-Roc, who is the performance coach, a serial entrepreneur, and the founder of That1 Agency, a top-tier podcast booking and media company. Featured in over 2,000 plus podcasts, interviewed billionaires, celebrities, and high performers, now touring That1 Podcast. He's not only built an 8-figure real estate empire, but has shared stages with global leaders, helping others go further, faster by collapsing time through mindset and through networks. Today, let's bring on C-Roc to the show. All right, C-Roc, welcome to the show.
Rhonda.
So glad you are here. Now, I know you've been on thousands and thousands of shows, but I want to hear a little bit about your journey, like where you went from building such a massive mortgage company and now into building this empire with That1 and podcasts and helping others expand their message.
Well, first of all, I'm glad to be here in New York City. It's amazing. I love the energy. I was in a business making a lot of money and felt trapped, which was the mortgage real estate business.
Yep.
And, we were helping a lot of people, but it was not what I was destined for. I was playing too small of a game. I would make a lot of money and then come home miserable. And I just didn't like that feeling, but I thought I was stuck in it.
Well, how many people do that to themselves?
99%.
Right? Like here we are, we're literally
in
the New York Stock Exchange. A lot of people may not be loving what they're doing.
Yeah, exactly. And eventually I hit 40 years old and I was like, I can't do this the rest of my life. I got to figure something out.
Yeah.
So I started working on myself. I started being around some of the top mentors in the world and taking all their information just to immerse myself in their content. And I started to realize, wait a minute, I'm not playing a big enough game. I think all of us have this, there's a game that we should be playing that we're underestimating what we're capable of.
Yeah.
And so I started becoming aware of these things and I started testing my potential. And I started working on myself, studying, and I started having this new world opened up to me. And so at that point I said, you know what? I gotta ask my mentor for the next step. And a guy named Grant Cardone, a lot of people have heard of.
I think we know this guy.
He told me, dude, you got to get known globally. And I'm like, nah, I don't want to get known globally. Are you kidding me? I don't care about that. He said, no. You're missing the point. You're thinking ego.
Yeah.
You got to get known globally because you're in a chase mode right now. And most people are in a chase mode in their life.
Yeah.
Chasing. You got to do the opposite of that. And what getting known globally will do, will create an attraction model. And it'll pull the right people, the right opportunities to you, and it'll blow your mind. And I said, but Grant, I don't know how to do that. He said, you don't need to know the how. You have to commit. Because if I told you the how or you found out the how before you were committed, you would be overwhelmed and you wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
So commit. I said, all right, I'm in, all in. Let's go. What do I do now? He said, now go get on podcasts. And I'm coachable. So I said, which ones? And he said, all of them. And I just started going on podcasts, 7 to 10 a week. And I did it for 5 years straight.
Holy moly. Well, you and I share a very similar belief system, which is building your personal brand, right? That's what we're kind of talking about, getting our message out there. But you have this belief of, or this way of collapsing time to help people reach their goals, right?
Yeah.
And how do you tie that into not only expanding your message by sharing it globally, but by collapsing time to help you reach your goals faster?
So as far as I'm concerned, most people are not clear on what they want. So clarity helps you collapse time.
Okay.
When you get clear, things start to open up, and then you can start, when I say clear, I'm talking about your mission, your values, and then what happens is it gets rid of chaos and confusion, which collapses time, and allows you to make binary decisions. So when I come to a decision point, I can think, does this go towards my mission or away? Does this align with my values or is it away from my values? And it makes things very easy to make quick decisions, which speeds up the process.
Yeah.
Okay, then the other thing is the network. If you can leverage other people's networks, time, expertise, systems, and process, you can collapse time.
Okay, so absolutely, I love that. And I think that most don't even realize that. They're stuck in this chaos or fog of, what do I do next? It's like there's a million things in front of them, but you're talking about literally focusing on one thing to collapse time. Now, you mentioned the network. Now, I know with That1, you have an unbelievable network. And the work that you're doing with not only helping people focus, get very clear, but also expand their message through their network. Let's talk about what That1 is doing for people to bring all of that really together.
So the whole mission is really to get people to move further, faster, help cause and create futures for people. I believe, and I've been taught through my mentorship, that the most attractive thing you can do for people is cause and create futures for them or for them.
Yeah.
And so my whole thing is, how can I cause and create futures for people? And so That1 is using the vehicle of podcast guesting. It's just a vehicle to help people move further, faster, get connected to the right people, leverage people's network and time and expertise, and then allow them to move further, faster. And then I get to sit back and be a part of all these missions, but I don't have to be the expert in all these different areas, whether it's investing, real estate, entrepreneurship, biohacking, longevity, wellness, all that kind of stuff. And so it's really fulfilling. Listen, I made a lot of money in my life, but I'd come home miserable after making millions.
Yeah.
And I couldn't figure out, like, why is that? But now I realize that I just wasn't fulfilled because it was just about money.
Yeah,
it wasn't about a true mission,
no purpose. Yeah.
And when I had that clarity come to me, forget about it. And then the money follows. The money just keeps coming.
It does, and I think that people, they hear it often, but they don't really necessarily believe it.
Yeah.
Now, you've done a lot of not only studying, training with how our mind works as well. We were talking about this earlier today and some of the resources that you've used. How do you help people get into that state of belief and of purpose so that when they are expanding their message, they're on podcasts or doing shows, how do they really speak from that truest authenticity?
So that's what the brand That1 is all about. Okay, I came up with this brand because I was thinking about the most successful people that I've interviewed or hung around.
Yeah.
And I started to realize that they all leaned into really knowing who they were, their strengths, their weaknesses, insecurities, and then leaning into it unapologetically and then becoming That1.
Yeah.
Now it's not about competition anymore.
Yeah.
It's about being unique and standing out. And then you can, like, there's no competition when you do that, right? But the other thing I started to pay attention to a lot was I need to be a living demonstration. I can talk all I want. There's a lot of people out there, talking heads, talking about all the stuff you should be doing. But I started to realize, wait a minute, if you're a living demonstration of it, it goes well beyond just talk, the action of it. And then people can look at you for inspiration, for strategy or understanding of what's going on. And then they can duplicate that in their own lives.
Yeah. I love that about what, That1 stands for. And so let's get into like the actual technical side of podcasting, because there's probably a lot of mistakes that people actually make. And what do they get wrong and how do they avoid it? Right? How do they become so well prepared? Like, you're killing it right now. And not everyone can do this in the first shot.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. So a lot of people think they have to do everything themselves. And that goes into entrepreneurship as well, business. You can do anything you want in life, but you can't do everything.
That's true.
Right? And that's a mentor told me one time, and I was like, that makes sense. Yeah. So I started to realize that, and leveraging other people's, I can't say this enough, network, expertise, and systems and process, buying time from people. And so most people get that wrong. And then they also get wrong thinking that they need to go on all podcasts. I did 7 to 10 a week for 5 years because my mentor told me go on all of them. I was going on women's podcasts where they were talking about menopause and perimenopause and telling my story. I didn't even know what they were. I had no idea what that was at the time. But I was just going on there. I was the first guest on many shows. I was putting reps in, and I think everybody needs to put reps in.
Yeah, of course.
But you don't need to do 7 to 10 a week.
Yeah.
One a week is good. But also they don't commit and they don't start. You got to start somewhere. Just start going on podcasts. Get on a podcast. Just get on anything. Do your own podcast.
Yeah.
So,
share your message. That's what I always tell everyone. Like, the first way to build your brand is to start telling your story, right? Tell your message, tell your story, because like you mentioned, when people are more vulnerable and they actually start sharing, you become relatable, right?
Yeah.
So let's talk about the millionaire mindsets and the traits of top performers, because I know you have literally worked and walked lines with very high-level celebrities, right?
Yeah.
And so what have you found common from them?
Well, one thing I noticed, and this is something to pay attention to, the darkest times in people's lives was when they attached their identity to what they were doing, which is really your vehicle. Like, I was in the mortgage real estate business. That became my identity.
Yeah.
When that had trouble or it crashed, my identity crashed with it.
Well, I mean, look where we are right now, right?
Yeah, 100%.
When the big crashes happen here, people lost themselves.
People jump off buildings, unfortunately, right?
Right.
So what I realized is that you need to really identify who you are, become self-aware, understand your non-negotiables, what you're convicted in, and then from there, create your identity around that, and then your vehicle becomes what you do. And now you're not attached to it. You're just getting in and out of vehicles. If one thing slows down or stops, you just
get in your car,
get into another one, or work on it. Be a mechanic and work on it.
Yeah.
But it's not your identity.
Yeah, and I love that. It's so important because that is the effect, right? Where people feel that what they're doing, the moment they lose that, they're no longer whole, right? And I think that's something it's a vital, not only message, personal development message, business message, branding message, right?
Well, but by the way, this is veterans. Athletes, right? It also
even
is
celebrities, right?
Celebrities, or people that have had an exit in their business.
Yeah, that's it.
Lots of money. You think that they would be on top of the world, and they're miserable. And I studied this. I was like, why are they so miserable? It's because they attached their identity to that thing. When they exited that company, the meetings were no longer there. Nobody was calling or emailing them. They felt just isolated.
Yeah, I've seen it. My dad was a fireman. We retired after 32 years. He was literally lost. Kids are old. Right? And I think this is it's so important for people to realize it. I think that's what I love about what you're doing with That1 is that you're encouraging people to not only get in front and share their story, but then it's no longer than your identity. It's literally you being you. And that's, I know what you're all about. So let's talk about quantum expansion, because I know that you're big on that. What does it actually mean, and how can people literally apply it?
So people all have beliefs of what's actually possible, right? And so I want to just expand upon that. I want to break people's ceilings, right? And so we're starting a group. We have a great WhatsApp group, as you know, you're a member of it, and 200 some members in only 3 months. And we're going to continue to grow that out. But I wanted to go deeper. And a lot of people were asking, like, how can we go deeper? And I'm like, well, let's create something. So we've created a group. It's launching next week called That1 Quantum Expansion. And we're going to bring people in and get it real uncomfortable and really test their ceilings and their beliefs. And it's, instead of just a mastermind where you go and people speak and you're sitting there for hours, which no shade on anybody that does that. I've done tons of that. I can't sit still and listen to people speak. So we're going to create events that with experiences that people come together and overcome things together and have a bond that's just creates opportunity to go above and beyond what you could ever believe is possible.
Yeah, I love that. And that's really bringing people together. It's like you're bringing in initially as how to get your message out there and do podcasts and build, but now you're holistically bringing and creating connection. Right? And experiences, we learn from experiences. So how can people find more about not only That1, quantum expansion, like all the things?
Well, the number one agency.com, you can check out what we're doing there. But also, I'm on Instagram all the time. I answer my DMs. I love connecting with people. We do 15-minute networking calls all the time. So if you can DM me, go to Mikey C-Roc on Instagram. You can find me there. Check out my content and DM me. Let me know you saw us here.
Yeah, because this guy is unbelievable. And the people that I've met through your community, right? Not only us working together, helping others like do PR and media, but expanding. And when you have a community of people that care, right? You have mentors and those that are in your community that actually care, we're going to grow to an even better world, create better connections and communities, and as a result, make a lot more money. And that's why I love doing this show right here, because this is an energy about money, right? It's an energy about creation of money. However, when you do it with real truth and authenticity, and it's attracted because it's integral, that's when we win.
100%. Service, coming from a servant's heart, is game changer. And as my daughter said to me the other day, she said, Dad, I only listen to what you tell me is because I know you care. And shout out to Tiny.
I love it. Well, thank you so much, C-Roc. You are so freaking amazing. I'm honored to be in your space, to be in your network, and to work alongside you.
Thank you.
All right, guys, don't forget to get over there and look at That1, connect with C-Roc and this unbelievable community. I can't wait to see you at the next event. And don't forget to be unstoppable, stay wild. We'll see you next time.